We have a long weekend. This weekend is our long weekend because of Australia Day. Um, so yeah, it's been a good short week. Not bad. Yes, Win, you have a question?
Yes, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, absolutely fine.
Uh, so I read about the brand resonance, and
Pyramid model.
I I just have a question about a case like uh as in the slides, um, it demonstrates that brand should have deliver the value and make the consumer to feel attached to the brand.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I had one case that, for example, uh, that I have a business and
Yeah.
everyone come to my store and they really like the product. And beside that, we have a cat in that store, and they love that cat. So every time they remember about my brand, they
With the cat.
immediately remember about the cat. Like, do you know the store that have uh the fat cat exam like that?
Yeah.
So is that considered as a brand resonance or not? I have no
That's
idea.
yeah, instead of being brand resonance, it's gonna be more an association that they have with your brand. Is that when they think about your brand, they think about the cat. Perhaps you could make the cat as your brand ambassador, or you could make it the face of your business, so the association gets stronger and you have a clear point of differentiation. But brand resonance happens when they continue coming back to your business for your products as opposed to just meeting your cat. When they have a favorable attitude, I'm sure the cat helps them develop that favorable attitude, but also your product performance needs to be exactly what you promise them to deliver. And then they build like a sense of community. Perhaps if you want to organize events that revolve around them playing with the cat, but also puts your product in the front stage, in the center of what your event is. Um, then that community can be built up. And when the consumers decide they want to do those events by themselves, for example, as just one of the actions of developing a sense of community, when they decide that they want to engage with your brand themselves actively by organizing an event, that's when you've reached that very active stage of a sense of intense sense of community and long relationship. So the cat can help you reach there, but you should never lose sight of your products, and you should think about brand resonance in connection to your products as just opposed to using an added value that is spending time with the cat. Does that make sense?
Okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
When we look at the United Colors of Benetton example today, right? You'll see how the campaigns focus so much on social issues and people associated UCB, United Colors of Benetton, with social issues, but also detracted them from what the product was all about, which is an apparel company, a retail company. So your product should also always be in the center stage. So commercially, you are successful as well. Make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah. I understand.
Okay. That's a good question. That's a very good question. You can make your cat your mascot. I recently cute cat cafe in Sydney. It's Chucks and Zag. See if you find the website. Chucks and Zag. If anyone has been around, it's cat 11 days for people to pay money. Make sense?
Yes, like the
Yeah.
net for the cats.
The
Like
yeah, you can
yes.
always pitch it as a donation. Yeah. I can't find the cat cafe in Marrickville. It was so cute because the first opening day, how they created this sort of buzz was it was free. You could go and just play with the cats. It was free. And then you get hooked onto it if you really love cats. And they're like, yeah, it's okay. I'm happy to pay like $15 to spend some time with the cat, especially if you can't afford to get one. So, really cool idea. Can't find it on Google. Somehow my browser has changed to Yahoo browser, which is very frustrating, but cool question, Win. Time to get started as well. I just saw the time. Today we're going to be speaking about positioning brands, and just like for Win, if for everyone else as well, this is a really important session because what we are thinking about here is about our target market segment and how can we differentiate and distinguish our brand from the competitors. So when we think about Nguyen's business or when we think about that cat cafe, what helps us stand out from the crowd? So whatever consumers think, feel, hear about our brand and helps us distinguish from our competitors is what our positioning is. Remember that brand mantra is developed at the same time as the positioning, all about points of parity, but also points of differences that can help you build that intense, active, loyal relationship. But for building a positioning, strong positioning, we also need to have a really in depth understanding of our target market segment, right? So the lecture themes for today are going to revolve exactly around that. It's going to be brand positioning, crafting a brand positioning statement. So what are some of the fundamentals of creating a positioning statements and how can you create a positioning statement for your brand as well? While thinking about the values that they are going to receive from the attributes and consequences. So we're going to be looking at a laddering theory. Why should they believe the value claims that you're making? For example, if you say it saves you time, but like how? You need to prove to the customers. It makes you feel at peace, but how? You need to be realistic with your value claims. You need to make them believable. And then provide them a frame of reference as to relative to whom, such as your competitors. Pepsi relative to Coca Cola. Mountain Dew relevant to Coca Cola. And I'll show you a really cool example, which I don't want to tell you more about because I need to understand from your point of view first. But really cool example of that frame of reference too. So, have you ever guys walked into a supermarket, gone through the water aisle, and thought about why are there so many water brands? What is the purpose? What are their value claims? What are they positioning? Why should I get Evian over Viatel? Or why should I get Evian over Dasani? Why? What are their value claims? Why? Do you guys have a favorite water brand or do you like any of them is fine? Whatever is the cheapest on the market is fine, or whatever is the high quality. And no, but I'm going to get Fiji water because it comes from Fiji, pure clean water, or Evian because it's related to Wimbledon. Any of you? Do you have a favorite water brand or do you know about positioning of these different water brands?
Hey, Isha.
Hey, Hawk.
Hey, I don't have a favorite water brand, but I remember growing up, Evian in Vietnam was always sort of like positioned as luxurious because my grandmother
Mm,
told me, yeah. But I
yeah,
don't know why, yeah. Comes from the springs or something like that.
it's it's all marketing. I have to say that for sure. The way Evian is being marketed to consumer is that it comes from French Alps as this really luxury brand associated with Wimbledon, really world class. It's to do a lot with marketing, obviously. Ultimately, it is world water, but you won't believe how that there are wine connoisseurs, there are water connoisseurs in the world as well, and they check all those sparkling um, characteristics of the water and see how it tastes and stuff. Dao says he prefers or she prefers Lavi because they're cheap and trustworthy. Trust, huge factor, but also affordable. Evian, because packaging looks fresh, really good example. So it is the packaging. Packaging brings me to this image though. I'm so glad, Hank, that you spoke about packaging because what do you think this is all about? What do you think this product is? Oh, let's zoom out a little bit. Obviously, I scratched what the description of the product, but what do you think this can is all about? You might have seen it on TikTok, beer, energy drink, anything else apart from beer, energy drink. What else could it be? Because this, my friends, is water. It is water. Well, it is viral on TikTok. It is an American brand, Liquid Death. I said Liquid Death out loud, and my husband was, what? I said, oh, it's just a water brand, you know. It's just a really cool, edgy for punk rock people, people who are very different. It's water for them. So let's look at, before I go into those traditional water brands like Evian and Dasani and see what their value claims are and what their unique stories are, because we are quite across them, I want you to see this water ad from Liquid Death because it does not follow any of the traditional water commercial brand guidelines. It is different. It is in a can, which makes you think it is beer, but it is actually water. But the commercials, amazing. Amazing because they're so different and you wouldn't anticipate that this is all about water. Okay, so this is just one of them. Oh, hang on. I did not share my sound. So it's available on Amazon. You can see how edgy, how different the commercial are. Let me show you one more. Drink on the job, drink on the job. Everyone is drinking on the job. Drink, drink, drink. Yeah, everyone is drinking on the job. Drink on the job, drink on the job. It's just water. So it might make you feel like it's beer. It is just water. It started with this skull branding. All of the imagery, all of the commercials that you'll see, it is all about being different, being appropriate for each situation. It started its partnership with concerts where it was distributing during Live Nation concerts. So it had really strong associations with that. So each of these brands, like Liquid Death, Perrier, Dasani, Aquafina, Ethos, they tell their own unique story. Although Liquid Death's story is very, very unique and it helps them stand out in the market. It's been around there for about 10 years in the market. We'll see how it grows and how it continues staying profitable because they've now extended the brand into sparkling water, iced teas. I think powdered electrolyte as well. So they've definitely extended their revenue streams. But that by just being different has really exactly. Can you imagine? Too risky to drink for me, obviously. You must try and do this. I was actually gonna show it to my parents and I was gonna ask them, is it okay if I drink this during like a family event? Because I wanted to see what their reaction was without realizing that it's actually just water. Um, but yeah, that's the whole fun about having liquid death, I guess. However, sometimes those kind of brand differentiation, like if it continues happening, everyone now what knows what liquid death is about. You need to continue evolving as well, and you need to continue creating new points of differences and delighting your customers. And that's why I said we need to see how the brand grows further and how it can create that differentiation, just like Ethos, Perrier, Dasani, and Aquafina have over so many years. Each brand, therefore, they offer a particular claim of superiority and that they continue need to claim that is relevant to and resonates with their particular type of consumer. So if you look at specifically, I'm gonna just skip a little. If you just look at specifically Ethos, it says that Ethos, as the name suggests, it is for consumers who are socially conscious, but it is specifically for millennial consumers because being socially conscious, being sustainable in nature, caring about the environment is a value that is closely associated with millennials and Gen Z as to opposed to other generations. It's the only brand among all bottled waters, which is the category, cares about solving world's clean water crisis because it donates 5 cents to every bottle sold to programs that help support water, sanitation, and hygiene education programs. So it is creating a claim of superiority for specifically its consumers that are millennial consumers. Liquid Death is for Gen Z consumers, some millennial consumers, but mostly Gen Z consumers who care about sustainability but also being different. They don't like traditional advertising. They like these edgy, different advertising, edgy products, right? And sustainability because uh, Liquid Death also has strong associations with being sustainable, cleaning up beaches, reducing plastic waste. The can is recyclable, so those help reinforce those sustainability claims. So we're looking at positioning to create that long-term, intense, loyal relationship with our customers. And we're looking at how we wish to be perceived, right? How we wish our consumers know us as opposed to what we are. We want them to know who we are, and this is how we want to be perceived. That Jetta is not just for the whole market, it is for new middle class. Vento is for young progressive people. Beetle is for fashion conscious women. So, depending on your target market segment, you are creating a positioning for each of your product, right? Polo is not for everyone. It is for young, progressive people, lower end mass. When I was in my undergrad, right, I used to see so many Beatles around and I used to think, oh my God, it would be so cool. Cool was the word to have a Beetle. I really hope when I grow up, I get a Beetle. Would I do it now? No, I won't because I know it's not economical for my current needs and it just doesn't suit me, right? So it is for fashion conscious women, uppity women, fashion icon and stylish, but who can also afford that kind of a car. Very specific target market segment that it's created for. So positioning statement in then says communicate that unique value about your product, your brand that you would offer to that particular target market segment because we are not for everyone. Distill the brand's value proposition into a compelling answer to an all important question: why should I buy this? Why should I buy Liquid Death? It is expensive because Liquid Death is not cheap. Similarly, Fiji water, Evian water, none of them are cheap. Why should I buy this? It's just water. Even if it's expensive, it's just water. It doesn't make sense for me. It's too risky. So you need to give a strong, compelling answer to customers for your target market segment. Remember, why should I buy that? Develops for an internal managerial audience and helps guide the tactical execution of the brand, makes the difference between a brand's positioning and mantra. So the standard formula that we're going to be following is for whom, target market, brand, frame of reference, that is category, and you can say sometimes frame of references with competitors too. That we'll see with the Ancola example. What value claim and because of what reasons should we believe those value claims. That is a standard positioning formula that encompasses everything associated with positioning. Ethos that we've already looked at, we'll look at Perrier. So for middle class consumer looking for an affordable and accessible luxury, you'll see a lot of tourists that go to Europe want to get a Perrier water or sparkling water because they want that little affordable, accessible luxury. And it is for middle class consumer. Is the only brand among all bottled waters, subjective category, that offers an elegant, sparkling, refreshing water with just a hint of zinniness. Just that little hint. So you can see that it's green apple, it's a green color bottle. The cap, the umbrella, sorry, is also green apple top, right? You can see the background is green. It makes you feel like you're on the clouds. So it's naturally carbonated by volcanic gases deep beneath the south soil in southern France and features clever bottle design by Andy Warhol. Because what it is water. How do you create differentiations? By telling them what it is, by making a claim that's believable, that is also relevant and resonant with the target market segment. Make sense, guys? I'll also
Yeah.
show you one more water ad during the break. I'll pull it up on YouTube, and it is one of the cutest water ad that I've ever seen. And I think it is Evian lives young, live young. Yes, it is definitely Evian live young. And let's see on YouTube. We should be able to find it. And these kind of imagery that brand positions in your mind, they really stand out and stay with you, and it makes you feel okay, this is why I prefer this brand. This one here, very very cute.
Wow, you really cracked the test. 10টি clinically proven dental benefits সহিত Dabur Red Paste.
Let's observe the effect of Evian on your body.
Come on, to the hip, you hit it to the hip, hip, hop it, you don't stop, to rock it to the bang, bang, boogie, say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beats.
So that's the ad, and it's a longer ad than that as well. There's a longer form of that ad, but it's basically like young kids who are really adults drink the water, become kids on these rollerblades, and they're enjoying life. And that is the value claim that everyone is making: is live young. For whom? For when and for where? Target customers. Who wants to live young? So, when you say who wants to live young, we need to provide an explicit description of the target market segment. Demographic, we're only looking at gender, we're only looking at age, maybe their household income levels, maybe where they live. Geodemographic is what it's called. But what we're really looking for here is psychographics as well, and that is their beliefs, attitudes, and lifestyle. Why is the keyword here? Why do they engage in these activities? What kind of interests do they have? What kind of activities do they engage in currently and would like to in future? So psychographics goes much deeper into consumers' psyche than just demographic. So explicit description would include demographics and psychographics about your target market segment, helps consumer easily discern which brand directly addresses their specific needs and which do not. For example, for Lululemon, the description is not just demographic, right? It is upscale women demographic, 18 to 60 demographic, who want to look attractive, psychographic, and feel confident, psychographic, wear in yoga class and out of it. Psychographic, who place value in cultivating a personal sense of style. So, this value here, by wearing Lululemon tights, attributes, tights is only what I'm talking about specifically here, but they have other products. So, by wearing those Lululemon tights, they feel comfortable, which helps them feel attractive and confident and helps them in end cultivate a personal sense of style. And this is what a laddering theory, I'm going to skip a few slides. This is what a laddering theory explains too. That for your target market segment, you need to think about the attributes of our product. Through those products, what are the benefits they are getting? And in turn, the value that they are trying to achieve. Okay, so remember this: attributes lead to consequences that help you attain or achieve some values. So when you are thinking about those target market segments, you need to think about those value claims as well. When you're thinking about who is the customer, why are they choosing, why will they choose our product? About the demographic and psychographics, we're thinking about value claims too. And these value claims can be economic, it can be functional, it can be social, it can be experiential. Some of them are also in instrumental values or terminal values. You can distinguish between those two as well. So I'll get to that in a sec, to instrumental and terminal. But the description of a unique value claim the brand offers, written from a consumer's viewpoint, we're trying to really understand why what for. Is it easy to carry? It's in a can, it makes you feel cool. But what does being cool really mean for you? Perhaps it is all about cultivating a sense of style for them, right? It could just be a functional value. You're at a concert, you think getting a liquid death, which is available at a concert, is affordable, is easy to carry, just a functional value. Convenient. Just saves you time. It's affordable, convenient. Very much so. But it could also be an experiential. Rush. It makes you feel like really what do you say, how you would feel energetic in a rock band or at a concert. So it's all about experiential value, but it could very much be about social value too, that it helps you fit in with the rest of the crowd. It expresses to others, outward in nature. It expresses to others who you are as a person and what is your personality. So your value claims can then be about saving time and making money and reducing risk. Could be multiple of these. Could be more emotional, reduces anxiety, wellness, therapeutic value, nostalgia, like using Nivea or having Vena milk, life changing, motivation, heirloom, having that Patek Philippe watch. It's an heirloom. Social impact, not all brands can achieve that because self transcendence is not something that every consumer is looking for each product category, right? I mean, a water bottle can only make you feel self transcendence in so many ways. Unless you really donate for a cause that makes you feel like that, right? Has a big social impact. So that is a value that brands may want to achieve, but perhaps might not be relevant for them. Okay, so it has to be relevant, not just for your brand, but also for your target market segment. It should resonate with them and it should be realistic, but also believable, right? You can't just make using a notebook as a self transcendence. So uh, buy a notebook from whom? Alchemist, and it's going to be self transcendence. It's not. It's just a notebook. You could have a really good quality notebook. It could help you organize things. It could help you reduce effort in managing your time. So I'm looking at all the functional values, but self transcendence is too much. It's not realistic enough. It's not believable enough. So these value claims, from consumers' point of view, need to be relevant, resonant, realistic, and can be layered as well, just like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You can choose between functional, emotional, life changing self transcendence, but almost all brands that go to that social impact have some sort of functional value that they work towards or help their customers achieve some sort of functional values. Make sense, guys? So your value claim should be purposefully designed and constructed with the fashion, technical detail needed to make you feel sexy, confident, and comfortable. Lululemon's value claim. Purposefully designed, constructed. Constructed is an interesting word, don't you think, for a tight piece of clothing. You're not just saying design, you're saying we've really thought about this. We've thought about the technical performance of the fabric of the tights. We've got those details that can not only make you feel sexy and confident, but also comfortable. That is the value claim they are making. But why should I believe that value claim, right? Sure, you would have thought about it, but give me a reason enough to believe that value claim. And we'll see how Lululemon does that in few more slides. So, creating relevance, really, really cool example. Strong value claims should be relevant to consumers, addressing their jobs to be done, fundamental needs they need to the product or service to accomplish. Because consumers are looking to fill jobs to be done when they hire a product or service, just like you hire a person. So, this example here, hiring milkshakes for breakfast, was such a good example of why consumers are looking for products as jobs to be done. So, in this experiment, this particular store wanted to identify why people were consuming milkshakes in order to, of course, increase the sales of these milkshakes. And they conducted multiple experiments. They tried to observe people. They tried to really check if the price was a reason. But nothing really gave them a good reason as to why people were having milkshakes, specifically during breakfast. And then they conducted an in depth interview where they asked customers specifically, what jobs are these milkshakes doing for you? Why are you really drinking this? And they identified that consumers were hiding milkshakes as companions on commute to their work. One, that they would be a companion on their commute to work. Two, because it would keep them full until their next meal time. It would keep them full enough until their next meal time. And as opposed to you thinking it must be the taste, it must be convenience, it must be accessibility, it might be the affordability, it was because milkshakes were these people's companions. And when I read this experiment, I thought, oh my gosh, this applies to me as well. And I'm sure it does to you guys as well if you go to work or if you do a lot of commute. Because generally, what I do is before going to work, before I catch a public transport, or even if I'm driving to work, I always get myself a coffee. And not just because it wakes me up before I get to work, but also because I just like to have something to do while I'm on my commute. That is drinking coffee. It is my companion on that commute. So I'm not bored and I'm still awake and I just have something to do. It just really helps. And that is why I hire coffee for breakfast on my commute to work, just like people do hire milkshakes for breakfast as a job to be done on the commute to work. So consumers are hiding your products. You need to understand for what. What is that reason? That relevancy, understanding that value claims, sometimes it might need in depth interviews with customers, sometimes you might want to do surveys with customers. But understanding those relevant value claims can really help you understand how you can maintain that sustained advantage over any other competitors, how you can continue maintaining that point of difference against the other competitors. Because people don't just buy a thing, they buy satisfaction of their wants and needs. For this reason, it's vital that managers look beyond the product itself to the motives of people who buy it. You look beyond water in a beer can to understand why would they buy it? Why would consumers buy it? Because nothing like that has ever been done for in this particular product category. Why would they believe that claim? Okay. So we need to understand the motives of people. In this liquid death case, it was Gen Z. In Lululemon case, it is upscale women within those age bracket. For Evian water, it was just everyday customers who wanted to look and feel young. They're buying a satisfaction of their wants and needs. Now, I said I spoke about the United Colors of Benetton, but I did remember that a lot of consumers or customers are not aware what United Colors of Benetton is all about. Have you guys heard of this brand before? Have you ever come across UCB? Yes? Okay, great. Awesome. Because in my previous classes, I realized I was talking about UCB, and then a lot of students did not know what UCB is all about. It is basically clothing, but obviously other accessories, shoes, belts, and stuff as well. But it's a retail company, really. And back in the days, UCB strongly associated themselves with these really interesting social causes with really groundbreaking imagery like Obama kissing the president of Venezuela. It got everyone talking. It went viral because before I would say social media or viral was a thing. So it was groundbreaking. It really helped them create noise in the market, buzz in the market. Everyone was talking about United Colors of Benin, and it really gave them a purpose that they were about all about peace and love in the world. Okay. Something else they did was again an employee of the year, a social cause. They care about all the people who were unemployed, but they didn't think they were useless. So they created this sort of, vote for the one of the one person that inspires you, and they will be supported. So unemployed people would be supported. Again, a social cause. However, while it helped them create that awareness, it helped them create a point of differentiation. Commercially, it wasn't very successful for UCB because a lot of people thought that, okay, but your product is clothing. Where is your product in between all these social causes, in between all these social campaigns? So, yes, it works when you're thinking about value claims that are relevant for your consumers. It also needs to be relevant for your business, and it needs to also be commercially viable for your business. Okay. UCB could do that in their time because they were still a successful company. They could afford these chances. They could still try to create that point of differentiation. But if you're a small business, always think about the most relevant value claims and then stick to those. This was a mature business when they did unemploy or unhate campaign. If you're a new product or if you're a new business, tread carefully when it comes to all these kind of social causes so you're not steering away from your business, from your products. Nike did this really well though. Nike created these shoes. Okay, so don't look at the question first, look at the advert. The advert says, "Who said women was not meant to fly?" The women's Nike Air Force 3, supportive, comfortable, fits on a woman's foot like no other basketball shoe, all because it's designed specifically for a woman, more specifically for a woman who has no fear of flying. So it's empowering women, it's making them feel more independent. It's making them feel good about themselves, but also keeping the product right in the center stage. So imagine what it would be like to experience both running plus Nike Air. As a woman, it's going to make you feel like powerful. It's going to make you feel like, yes, finally comfort, but also feel like I'm in the clouds as the imagery shows you. It's that comfortable and airy. And also the fact that it's made specifically for a woman, not just created in a small size or change the design from a men's shoe to a woman's shoes. Specifically engineered is the word, specifically engineered for a woman. So it makes you feel really good about yourself as well, that you're choosing a brand that cares about its target market segment while giving you the functional benefits. Okay, so if you look at these value claims again here, it's not just looking at the functional benefits, plus also emotional benefits. Okay, it reduces anxiety, it makes you feel attractive, but reduces risk. It's good quality brand as well, and you can add more functional value claims here. So your value claims in that sense does not just have to be functional or emotional, it could be both. Depends on how relevant they are for your target market segment and how much they resonate with them while being distinctive. Being distinctive, Nike did that because they said we have specifically engineered it for women when no other brand had done that outrightly. So three type of attributes can be transferred into value claims and leveraged for brand positioning. How can you create that distinctiveness? Look at shared attributes. Make sure you take all of them. The same example that I gave you in the last class, a bank needs to have a traveler's account, a checks account, a savings account, a physical branch, and ATM to be competitive in that category, points of parity. Then you look at your unique attributes. Guys, can you hear me clearly? Can you do a thumbs up if you can hear me clearly? Because my from the Zoom, I can see my video is a bit laggy. Yes? Okay, great. Cool. So once we have figured what our points of parity are, then we look at points of differences. Always keeping the view of the competitive landscape and consumers' evolving needs and wants, because points of differences can also become points of parity very quickly. But those differences are offered by a particular brand and they can be leveraged via vertical positioning. So, stressing a particular brand's performance and shared attributes is smaller, faster, cheaper, more comfortable, or by adding new attributes, benefits, or values. So we'll look at those. And then, lot of other brands add irrelevant attributes. You can say Liquid Death has sort of added some of those irrelevant attributes, yet has been able to create distinctive value claim, distinguishing attributes of the product without actually economic, functional, experiential, social value to customers, just superficially creating a point of differentiation. To give you an example, La Prayer says it contains 24 carats particles of gold, microparticles of gold in the face serum. What does that really do for your face? Don't know. Nobody knows. But it adds to the luxury. Adds to the esteem of using that brand. Differentiates Cara Silk differentiates shampoo brand Cara Silk through addition of silk proteins. Would that really impact your hair? Not sure. And how much is there? In how much quantity to it for it to be, in fact, make your hair very healthy? Don't know. Irrelevant attribute. Does not know how it helps the brand work better, but creates a point of differentiation. Folgers coffee, it's flaked coffee. Flaked coffee, powdered coffee, what's the difference? How does it impact the performance of the brand? Nothing, it does not. It really doesn't. But just it being a flaked coffee over powdered coffee creates a point of differentiation. And then it says mountain grown coffee because coffee grows on mountains. But you're just only thinking preemptively about a value claim that no one else has made yet. Put that in your branding and then create